This is a horror game podcast. It is meant for mature audiences. It may contain adult language, violence, and sexual themes, as well as shocking revelations. Viewer discretion is advised. Trigger warning. This episode contains references to drug use and mild artistic nudity. Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Thom Raley. The scenario is Loki's Gift. It was written by Chris Lackey and Mike Mason, and it's available from Chaosium. Keith Craig is our keeper of arcane lore, and this is episode 3. Our recap will be given by David Gasway as his character, Blake Walpole. So, without any further delays, let's continue our journey into the darkness. David?
Thank you, Tom. Our first evening at the Pacific Club went late and was rich in curiosities. Lord Holcomb has made of us provisional members, to the annoyance of Robbins, his snide doorman. Holcomb himself seems a little mad and quite fanciful, interested in old-time religion and the like. We breakfasted at White's and then broke off onto different quests. Underhill and I made the acquaintance of Margaret Cornwall, a lewd and inquisitive woman, and she was helpfully quite frank with us. It was not a broken heart that led young Gladstone to leap to his death. Rather, he seems to have lost interest in her or their affair after she introduced him to this ubiquitous Chillingworth fellow. Chillingworth is a dilettante's dilettante, it seems, mucking about in any and every artistic medium. For example, he gifted to her a rather hideous but not uninteresting statuette he called the Jade Dancer, saying it could somehow protect her. Chillingworth calls his gaggle of hangers-on at the Pacific Club the artist's mind, which is wildly pretentious. Archie met several of them there. Armstrong and Buckman's attempt to interview Daniel Ridley was rudely rebuffed, but they could hear from the street that he is actively working on Gladstone's score for the play Loki's Gift. Our actress friend had given us the address for Chillingsworth Atelier, and now altogether we have just arrived at this bustling establishment.
All right. The door opens up and you see this young woman. She's probably about 19, maybe 20 years old. And she just kind of stares at you and she's got a confused look on her face. She just kind of keeps looking at you.
Yes, we heard that this was the studio of one artist known as Ernest Chillingsworth.
Oh, you rang the bell. That's very odd. No one rings the bell.
Well, nobody until me.
Ah, I guess so. Maybe this will be a new tradition. Well, come in. People just come and go as they please, and no reason why you shouldn't also.
I'll keep that in mind.
My name is Ruth Jones. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Ruth Jones, it is pleasant to meet you as well. I'm Archie Lovell.
Ah, well, are you here for the opium or for other?
If by the opium you mean the art and the opium, then yes.
Oh, excellent. Well, come along. Let me introduce you to the artist's mind. The others are welcome, of course, too. You're the strong, silent type, I can tell. Come in.
Thank you, Miss Jones. Who all just comes and goes without ringing the bell? Just the artist's mind, or the general public, or opium eaters of all stripes?
All are welcome here, of course. Ernest, he thoroughly believes that life is meant to be enjoyed, and that by keeping people out from having pleasure and exploring their passions is a way to take joy out of life.
An Epicurean, then.
Ah, that is be a way to put it. I don't believe I caught your name.
Oh, Walpole, Blake Walpole. I write
Oh,
avant-garde plays, and I saw,
oh,
yes, I saw one of Chillingsworth's pieces earlier today and was moved to rather gather my associates and rush over to see more of his work.
oh, well, well, come in, come in. And she just starts walking off down the hallway. Um, and
How
you get the impression she just assumes you will follow.
how is Miss Jones dressed?
She is. Look at her picture. She is in a loose-fitting dress. It looks like it probably was definitely not tailored for her. Possibly not even is hers originally.
Hmm. Uh, Paint or clay or anything?
No.
Well, this is the place, gentlemen.
Oh,
Hey,
Be.
yes.
Uh, As
Wonder
you go down the hallway, you hear from two doors down, you hear the sound of a piano being played. But you recognize this as one of Mozart's pieces, maybe not played to the a professional level, but at a competent level.
Oh, something from Don Giovanni.
I wonder if I had somebody standing at the door of my studio offering people opium, if I'd have more visitors. It's a very ingenious business tactic.
yes, but it might cost you rather more on opium than you could make on paintings.
That's probably true. It's probably too terribly, terribly true. C'est la vie.
I left my hat near the door.
Okay.
Big.
So she turns the corner, and you see her ascending a staircase.
The place seems tidy enough.
Yeah, it looks there's some looks like some furniture that people have probably bumped into, but it's not like people are unsanitary here.
Mhm. And this is does this look like what it would normally be a commercial building or a residential
It
building?
looks like a residential building. It is 4 stories high from the outside, and about it's definitely long and skinny.
Up the stairs then.
If you follow her, she looks back and gives a smile, and she's like going, "Oh, were you needing something in particular? I just thought you were coming for to participate. I can show you if you had an interest that you were wanting to be guided to."
Well, we were hoping
Ooh.
to meet the man.
Oh, you were wanting to talk to Mr. Chillingworth. Oh, okay. Yeah, that would be no problem at all. He's on the 3rd floor. So come along with me. We'll go up this staircase and then the next. Mr. Archibald, if you're wanting, we've got some lovely an opium den on the 2nd floor if you're
Oh
wanting
my
to partake.
goodness. I gladly show the way.
Yep. When she gets to the 2nd floor, she points down the hallway, and she's like, the 2nd door on the right, that is generally where people are partaking of the dragon.
Oh, excellent. If you gentlemen excuse me, I'll join you in a moment.
Yes.
And
By
then
a
she
moment,
can
he means next month, maybe.
Yeah.
I give it 3 days.
And she continues up the next flight of stairs. Okay.
I don't know what it smells like. Anybody have any idea what opium smells like? I know that they produce fragrances that are called opium.
I was offered it in Thailand, but I did not partake.
I'm just going to assume it has an odd sweet smell because it's from poppies.
Yep.
Okay.
It's in the air.
Yeah. So, Archibald, you go down the hallway and you come to a room. You see in there a lot of people kind of laying down, smoking. There's men and women there. Some of them are clothed, some of them are not. And it looks like they've been smoking opium for a while. There are some half finished paintings on easels.
Any of them any good?
No, not really. They look up and they see you and they kind of smile, but they're definitely more in a drug daze, and they're like going, "Come on in."
Oh, thank you.
Would you like some? We have plenty for all.
Oh, of course. I would love some. Thank you.
Okay. So they hand that over to you, and you enjoy yourself some opium. Okay. All right. Roll me a 1d2.
Yeah, I was wondering there's going to be something. 1.
1. Okay. So you feel a sense of euphoria, but the side effects is that you're going to kind of be lethargic for the next hour, essentially.
That sounds. I would say this is quite the club you have here. Where else have I been so welcomed so quickly?
Oh, well, Ernest says that we must all enjoy our life. After all, there is nothing after we leave this world, and so why should we toil and suffer just to be put into the ground?
Yeah, hedonism makes some strong points. He's not wrong. I say so. You're all artists or artsy types, no?
Oh yes, of course. The businessmen, they look down on this type of behavior because they think that the pursuit of money is all that the reason why the world decided to puke us out.
Yes, well, I've never had much truck with businessmen.
Oh,
that they've all far too callous to the more interesting parts of life. There's so much to be experienced, so much to feel.
Oh, I completely agree. And it kind of descends into one of those conversations that, if you've had conversations between two drunk people, they're going to solve the world's problems. All right. So the other 4, you come up the steps, and Ruth goes, the office will be the second door on the right. And about that time, the office door opens, and out walks a gentleman that Florian and Edward recognize as the guy that was at Ridley's apartment that told you that he was running errands for Ridley and everything.
The butler or the neighbor that he was hiring to.
Mm-hmm.
So the neighbor's in on this.
So he comes walking and he sees you and he's like going, I saw you today, didn't I?
Perhaps, yes.
Yeah. Why didn't you tell? Yeah, why didn't you tell me that you were you knew Chillingworth, I would have let you in.
Well, we've actually not met the man yet. That's why we're here.
Oh, well, well, this is
Told you
wonderful.
we were artists looking for musician.
Mm. Well,
Was
that's maybe I'll see you tomorrow. You come by and Daniel's about done with his piece, he told me.
what's your name
Really?
again?
My name is I believe it is Frank. Yes. I am Frank.
Certainly
Frank,
are.
maybe we'll be paying a visit sometime soon.
Oh, well, I look forward to it. But I must get back to my what I'm being paid for, helping out Daniel.
Yes, yes.
He kind of nods to you, and then he walks on down the steps. Ruth's already wandered off.
I take it that's the rude fellow that wouldn't let you see Ridley.
That's him.
Based
Yes.
on context cues. So he's not merely a neighbor then, he's a member of this community, yeah.
I suppose
He's in the
so.
fold.
Yeah, that's surprising. He didn't seem very artistic, or maybe he's just an errand boy.
Right, he could have been bringing a message to Chillingworth after all, updating him on progress or some such. Well, let's meet the great man.
Right. When you come around the corner, you see a man in his upper 20s. He's sitting behind a desk, and he almost looks like he was expecting you. He's got a smile on his face. On his desk, he has various papers, and they're being held down by this odd-looking statue that he's using as a paperweight.
Usual.
And he looks at you and he's like going, yes. What were you needing something?
Any number of things, I think, Mr. Chillingworth. I'm Blake Walpole.
Oh, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Florian Buckman.
Oh, good.
Sir Edward Armstrong.
Oh, so
Reach my hand out for a handshake.
what were you knighted for?
Oh, yes, there was that. And I just kind of do a bit of like a blustering story, a little bit on the outrageous end of things.
Mm-hmm. He smiles along. And he looks at you.
Gordon Underhill.
Oh, well, it's wonderful to meet you. I don't believe you've been to the artist's mind before, or maybe you have, and I just when I haven't been able to come down and participate.
It's like you've got a very generous open door policy here. You don't have any trouble with riffraff?
Oh, if any people show up and they cause problems, we'll try and talk to them and convince them that they're on the wrong path. And if they continue to cause injury to maybe one of my regulars, then they get thrown out and warned not to come back. But in all, I find that it's usually if you're welcoming to people that they treat you kindly and with respect.
Very philosophy in London these days. Go ahead. Sorry, Florian.
One of the reasons why we were turned on to your Pacific Club was one of our friends is an artist. At the moment, he's downstairs indulging with your friends.
Is he a sculptor, a musician, a painter? Artist covers a whole range of
Painter
fields.
Yeah. Considers himself a neo-impressionist, expressionist. It's quite avant-garde. And
Oh,
Sir Edward there plays the pianoforte.
oh.
Yes, I know a thing or two about conducting, composition, music theory.
Oh, that's quite wonderful. I have not really dabbled into the arts of music, but painting and sculpting I've tried, and I trying to branch out to writing for the stage.
Yes,
Ah,
that's my line. I find that London audiences are not particularly open to the avant-garde, and I expect that your work, Loki's Gift, is going to be rather experimental.
Ah, my little masterpiece. Yes, yes. It will be it's an exploration of our place in the universe is what I intend. I've got a dress rehearsal coming up, my first one. I'm quite excited, as you can imagine.
And in addition to authoring the piece, you're directing it? Is that the case?
Yes, 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 I am.
How did you find your performers?
Let's tit for tat, tit for tat. He goes, how did you come to hear of me? I mean,
Well,
as you said, it's an avant-garde play, not really well advertised.
yes. We were acquainted with the late lamented Gladstone. I'm sure you heard of his untimely.
Mm.
Uh,
Yes, yes, yes. He was a delightful talent. He's one of those that you meet and very new, discovering his talent and just opening it up. So it was a real loss to the world, his passing.
we found the partial score for Loki in the poor fellow's chambers, and naturally we were intrigued. Also, the scuttlebutt was that he went from rather plebeian productions to something new and novel after making your acquaintance.
Hmm. Hmm. Well, I've answered one of your questions that about Gladstone. How did you know the young boy,
A
the
long
young man?
acquaintance with Sir Gladstone.
That makes sense. Yes,
We
yes.
uh, we attended the funeral, um, and our interest was just, it was sort of a roundabout way that we came to know all of this. We had
Mm,
heard that
conversations over sherry.
we'd
mm,
heard that he had been infatuated with a young woman, well, not so young, but an actress,
mm.
and
Oh, yes,
and
yes.
Walpole being, of course, in the theater. I mean, it's just little bits of information. We're all members of White's Gentlemen's Club,
Mm.
and we heard your name bounce around a bit. We heard the Pacific
Oh.
Club mentioned, and we're just curious individuals.
Well, I find it interesting that my name's bouncing around. Perhaps Walpole, maybe the avant-garde is catching on, and people are talking about me already. Who knows? Maybe next time I'll open up, and you'll see my name ahead of the play's name, as it'll bring them out. Almost like when you go see Midsummer Night's Dream, it's Shakespeare's Midsummer Night's Dream. Maybe it'll be. It'll be Chillingsworth's Loki's Gift. Could you imagine that on the marquee?
Oh,
But
yes. It could be quite beautiful indeed.
uh, I do have some hope for the avant-garde as we approach the new century, this exciting and modern world. I think a lot of people's staid values and old traditions are being tossed aside for,
As they should be.
indeed. Um,
And
this work on the desk, is that one of yours?
that's what I was just going to ask.
Oh,
Yes.
this was a gift from a patron of mine. Sir Wendell Whitlock gave this to me.
So it's is it contemporary work or is it what stone is that?
Oh, I don't know. It is I believe it is quite old, is what Sir Whitlock told me. He's like, would you like to?
May I see it? Yes.
Oh, of course.
I actually, you may be familiar with Lord Jellicoe Suffield Crane. I curate his collection of artifacts and books and so forth.
So
Yes.
when he hands it over, you can give me a power roll with a penalty die.
Um, 60. What is my POW? My POW is 65, so I got 62 out of 65.
All right. So when you touch it, when you hold it for a moment, what first flashes through your mind is the dream that you had, curiously, and then you're back in the room and holding the statue.
Oh, feeling a little lightheaded. Let's see.
Dear man, please sit. Do you have any brandy?
Of course.
It's fine. It's all right.
Brandy sounds wonderful. I'll get some brandy for all of us. By that he goes, Ruth, get us some brandy.
Do you have any idea of where it originates? I don't recognize. It's not European, I don't think.
I do not. I would need to ask a scholar or an expert on that. But it's so fascinating to look at. I mean, the craftsmanship on it.
It's rather spectacular.
Do I recognize it as the same material as the sculpture that was in the actress's green room?
It is not the same material.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
It's unusual. Octopus motif, but there are claws and wings.
Yes, the wings are rather odd.
It's very interesting, very avant-garde, if you will.
It is.
It's quite beautiful. I can't place the stone either. Can I do an appraisal?
Sure.
22 out of 45. So yes, it's quite old.
Yeah, it's
most definitely.
Yeah. You think that it's definitely not made out of a precious stone, but you can't place it. But the workmanship on it, once you start looking at it, it's definitely wasn't made by a master craftsman. There are some imperfections on it, but was that a regular
with age?
Yeah, was that regular or hard?
They're just regular.
But yeah,
22 out of 45.
That's a hard. Yeah,
that is a hard.
As you kind of look at it, though, you can see like there are some subtle details like around the base, like some looks like writing, but not any writing that you recognize.
Nothing I recognize.
But you get the feeling that if you could figure out where this came from, it'd be worth quite a lot of money.
Yes, hold on to that. That may be worth a great deal.
Mm-hmm.
I'd say it's rare.
Oh, extremely.
During all of this, Gordon is kind of hovering a little over Florian. Are you all right, Matt? I saw that holding his object was.
I think I just got up too quickly, and I'll set it back down on the on the table. And thank you, sir. It's quite beautiful.
Oh, it's good to see that you are a man of refined tastes.
I'd like to see your own work at some point. That would be fun.
Oh, why don't I arrange for you to come see my play in 2 days?
That would be lovely.
The dress rehearsal.
Yes, it's the final dress rehearsal is almost as good as seeing the play. Ooh. But this way I could take your inputs if I need to make any adjustments to it.
Why, yes. That sounds marvelous.
It'll be at the Green Theater on Piccadilly, and I'll put your names on the guest list.
We'll be honored.
That's very
Uh,
gracious of you. Thank you.
I often find that a final dress production even a little more engaged than opening night, with all the distractions and press and the
crowd,
hoopla.
yes.
Keeper, would you say that the Jade Dancer would appear to have been influenced by this sculpture? Do they have a similar characteristic or no?
No, not really.
No.
Well,
This one almost seems a primitive, like,
Um,
going back prehistoric almost looking.
I was glad when you mentioned octopus because my first thought was something rather more risque. Is
I like that
Speak up,
interpretation.
sir. But what do you mean? We're all gentlemen here.
I would say that there were aspects of it that would suggest to be a sort of female fertility totem. All those folding, rippling, vertical, organic forms, if you follow.
Well, perhaps you can't see any rudimentary breasts, but they're covered by the tentacles.
Yeah, well, primitives had different ways of sort of simplifying or focusing. The Venus of Willendorf has scarcely any head at all, but she does have a head dress or hair.
Yeah.
Well, in ways they were.
Go ahead.
In ways they were closer to what we truly are before we were despoiled by man-made creations of religions and economics and other things that hamper our life from being enjoyed.
Now the octopus motif, I would almost, the art of ancient Greece has a lot of octopus motif. I would say it probably is inspired. It would be something that you would find in a coastal people living near the water that would be doing. It definitely looks aquatic, if you will.
The octopus is a common theme in Japanese art as well.
Yes.
But I suppose if you eat the damn things, then they'll come to prey upon your mind.
Well, it sometimes can represent life itself. When you have something that's food, you take it into yourself and it becomes a part of you. There's a lot of interpretation to that, but
of course.
It's fascinating. It's fascinating, sir.
I'm glad that it has grabbed your attention. It obviously has grabbed mine, or else I wouldn't use it as a paperweight. I would give it away. But
while they're talking, I'm kind of observing Chillingworth, and I'm kind of looking at the surroundings. Gordon's feeling kind of creeped out. There's something about that form that is just like unsettling in its aquatic nature. So he's
understood. Yeah,
kind of quiet and holding back and just observing really closely.
He's like, he goes, since we're such good friends, is there anything I can offer you? Do you need women? Do you need alcohol? Do you need drink? Do you need a clay to work with?
Well,
I have men downstairs too. No inhibitions are allowed here.
We appreciate your sense of openness. I'm looking forward to that brandy. I think Ruth has gotten lost again. She seems to be a bit of a moony girl.
Yeah.
Do you have staff here, or is it mostly, friends who stay with you for a bit, or colleagues?
Just friends and colleagues. Staff, they require you to pay them at a regular time, and then you have to deal with other things like if they get sick, who's going to take care of them? And it's just when you have friends, they can help out. If they're ill, then your next friend can help you out. Maybe someday you'll be able to help some people out here too, since we're now all friends.
Quite.
Well, I'd really like for you to meet Archie. If you don't mind, I'll go get him and bring him up. Now, he might have some artistic needs.
Oh, well, another one. Yes, I would love that. And about that time, Ruth comes in with the brandy. Goes, thank you, Ruth. Right on time as usual.
I was going to ask, is it brandy, or brandy?
Probably about the middle one. Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yes, likewise, I was wondering,
I'm
Chillingworth.
going to get.
Okay.
Yes, if you holler if you need a hand with him, he'll be sluggish. Being 19th century Londoners, we can probably estimate someone's absolute worth based on their speech.
Mhm.
Yes.
Does it seem like Chillingworth was born into all of this? He is not being able to pay people regularly makes me wonder whether he's more of a chancer who's come up, or whether it sounds like he was,
He speaks like, he is old money.
Posh.
Full silver spoon, posh.
Mhm.
About how old does he appear to be?
Late 20s. Yeah. He goes, Sir Armstrong, tell me, are you married?
No, at the moment. I'm still out and about as a bachelor, just looking for the right woman.
The right woman. Don't fall for that old trope that was introduced so that men would have to pay and support women and all. Remember that women are beasts that are to be used for pleasure, and they to use us for pleasure also, not to be tied down to.
Ah, yes.
I'm trying to figure out how shocked I am by that. I don't think, there's avant-garde and then there's avant-garde, for heaven's sakes. But, one of the reasons to be a dilettante playwright is to meet young actresses. So only this shocked.
Yeah.
I think as I go, I'm going to poke my nose into places as I'm going.
All right. So as you look around, you see in one room there's some women. They're doing like a dance. It looks like maybe a ballet, and they're doing pretty well. Another one, there's some people painting, and there's a nude male model that they're painting. But looks like for the most part, people are actually trying to create art. Yeah.
So
And you find Archibald.
I'll head back down to where Archie is.
Mm-hmm.
Archie is very unsteadily drawing one of the nude loungers on a nearby couch. Just hold still a moment. Hold still a moment.
Oh,
We're
I've been
there.
holding still. It's only your eyes that are wandering.
It's gotta wander all over the page of just almost there. Oh, hi. Oh, Florian, hello.
Archie. You're doing very well, I see. That's quite good. I was wondering if you'd come upstairs with me and meet Mr. Chillingsworth. He's quite the patron of the arts. You've
Met the man. Yes, I'll be right there. If you come to my studio, we can do a proper portrait.
Oh,
When I'm feeling a little more
risky.
Let more when we have time without interruptions. Yes, I will go. Florian, yes. Let's go to Chillingsworth.
Let's bring that with you. That's
I,
very nice.
I would show you, but I feared that you would get demonetized.
Oh,
Yeah.
I don't know where that came into my brain. That word
what is this demonetized?
I don't know.
We do give a warning, and we don't monetize. So, but
I mean, if you want to mark down a timestamp, I actually have been drawing furiously while you were.
Okay, I'm curious now. We can see it. Nice.
Oh.
It disappeared.
Yeah,
like
Zoom
it.
is censoring Morgan.
No! Curses!
I like the halo.
Yeah.
That's actually pretty good.
You must scan that in and send it over.
Yeah.
As a handout. All right. Okay, so you guys come back up. As you're approaching, you hear Mr. Chillingworth. He's asking, and you, Mr. Underhill, what would be your deepest desire that since we've just met, I won't ask for your darkest. What is your just deepest desire that you're comfortable telling us about?
Well, I suppose I would say I've already achieved it. I have a significant employment and I am well taken care of. I have a fabulous house on the East End. And life is actually going quite well for me. I'm wondering if you could tell me what this piece is about. How do you interpret this? And I just kind of pointed some random piece of art that's on the wall.
He looks at that. He's like, I painted that after I read a quote by Dumas. Are you familiar with him? He wrote French writer.
No. Afraid not.
He had a quote that I quite liked. It said, "If God were suddenly condemned to live the life which he has inflicted upon men, he would kill himself." That seemed to speak to me on the pointlessness of trying to work and achieve things while you give away your...
That's rather fatalistic, wouldn't you say?
Well, I think it's quite beautiful. It has freed me up.
Could I roll history to try and recall information about this writer, mostly just to try and blather, to make small talk, to try and make sure we don't get into more weird conversation, know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah.
Buy some time for Florian and Archie to get back to us.
Yep.
Do I hear somebody?
Not 94. I don't know what I'm talking about.
All right.
While he's blathering incoherently, I'm also kind of I'm really checking out Chillingworth and trying to get a vibe for him. Can I roll psychology?
You give me a psychology roll. Let me look at his to see if you need
I'm trying to see if there's glee in his face as he's talking about this. If there's a
Oh, you don't have to roll for that. He's smiling. Yeah, he is full of glee. But to get a read on him, you need a hard.
I did. It was not a hard, but it was a very
yeah. But yeah, he is smiling. From your impression, he's truly believes in enjoying life because this is all we have in his mind.
And just the suicide comment too also just kind of struck me because he clearly knows that the whole reason why we.
Yeah, I know.
I was just trying to see if there's any twinkle in his eye around that, but I'm just gonna I'll nod politely.
As I step back into the room, I see, did I just hear a quote by Alexander Dumas?
Oh, yes. One of my favorites. I have you read any of him?
Yes, a few of his pieces. Mr. Chillingsworth, I'd like to introduce Archie Level.
Ah.
He's been
Yes, I
downstairs
am.
drawing the ladies.
Yes,
Oh, good.
that's what
Thanks.
we all should be doing, in my humble opinion. There's very few things that are more pleasurable than the creation of art, especially with the beautiful subject matter. I am, as they've already introduced me, Archie Level.
Ernest Chillingworth, it's a pleasure to meet you.
Yes, likewise. This is quite the place.
Hmm.
This little house of yours.
Well, I was quite fortunate to get it from my parents who died when I was young, and be able to live my life that I've wanted to.
I'm sorry, this is the queerest little paperweight I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, give me a power roll, but just a straight up power roll. You don't get a penalty die.
85 is a failure.
Okay. All right. So with that failure, you maybe it's the opium, maybe it's something else, but you are in your mind, you're back on that boat in the ocean, and you dive in, and you kind of swim down, and what you see in your mind, that city with the strange geometry, and then you are back here. From everyone else's, it just kind of looks like maybe you had a low blood pressure incident, so you got a little
Ooh,
dizzy.
whoa, I smoked more than I thought. Easy how it is to overindulge, if there is such a thing as overindulgence. Why, where did you come across this?
Oh, it was a gift from a friend.
Oh, well,
Mhm.
he definitely knows how to give a good gift.
He
Say,
does.
Blake, what would there's something damn right sexual about this little thing, isn't there?
It's interesting. Yes, I was drawn in that direction as well, whereas Buckman went immediately aquatic.
Hmm.
Um, Certainly, it's clear, it gives off a totemic feeling to me. It doesn't feel like a simple representation, but something that's meant to be coveted
Those,
or.
those matrices of meaning you were telling me about. It's hard to get a fix on what it would represent if we don't know the other things in its milieu. It's
Yes,
all on its lonesome. It's hard to interpret.
is this the fellow who gifted it to you, this Whitlock, is he a great world traveler or is he more of an art
He
connoisseur?
he was in the army, in his youth, and he was sent to far off places by the government.
Traveling for the Empire, yes. So he could have gotten very far afield indeed. Uh, Past tense, so he, like your parents, is no longer with us.
Oh, last I had heard, he was still alive. I haven't
Oh,
seen him in a few weeks, but I've
oh,
been working on my masterpiece, of course.
yes. A masterpiece before 30 in a new medium.
Hmm.
Your confidence is as considerable as your generosity, it would seem.
Well, if it wasn't for confidence, what artist would put their work out there for the public?
Yes, in order to be an artist, one must have a very healthily indulged ego.
Yeah.
Keeper Ernest was seated at his desk when we came in. Has he gotten up and walked around to point at things, or is he still?
Yeah. He kind of he got up to shake your hands, and maybe when Gordon pointed at the painting, he went over there and was kind of looking at it when he was quoting Alexander Dumas.
I'm looking for an opportunity to look at the papers on his desk
Okay.
to see
Uh,
if there's anything to note.
okay. Yeah. Give me a. Are you trying to do it so he doesn't notice?
Yes. I'm waiting until he's got, gesticulating towards something on the wall so that I
Okay.
can. Not going to open a ledger or anything, but if there's some open correspondence or.
Mhm. Okay. Do you have any law or accounting?
I have a little accounting. I have only base law.
Okay.
It's 17 in accounting. I have to be able to manage my own
Right.
income.
Yeah. Okay. Well, you can give it a roll.
27 ads. Is that worth spending? I think I'm going to do it. I
Okay.
think I'm going to spend it. There's something of note.
All right.
So that means you are no longer group luck band. You'll be happy to hear Armstrong.
Okay. All right. So what he has there is the contract for the Green Theater. And with the accounting role, you notice that he only has it reserved. So the dress rehearsal is 2 days. He has it reserved for only a couple days after that. So either he's not planning a long time on there, or he didn't actually have the money to reserve it for longer.
This whole affair is pretty expensive, even if the building was left to him outright when his parents die.
Mm-hmm.
The maintenance of it and things. Yes, he might be planning a spectacular failure in some way as well.
All right. He comes back around. He turns around. He's like going, well, gentlemen, I have got all your names down as guests for the dress rehearsal. I'm quite excited to hear your thoughts on it. I mean, your insights on the art on this statue have been quite wonderful. So I look forward to seeing you in 2 days' time.
I'll admit also that I'm quite intrigued by your attitude towards life and what we've heard from some of the people here. Life is to be appreciated. That's a good word, isn't it?
I like that. Yes. It's better than toiling away and then looking in the mirror one day and realizing that you're an old man and that no one will even remember the work that you did for the bank.
Reminds me of another Dumas quote. Life is a storm. You will bask in the sunlight one moment and be shattered on the rocks in the next. And what makes you a man is how you deal with the storm that comes.
That is a wonderful quote. I've often believed you can judge a man based on his reaction to failures than how he reacts to successes.
Count of Monte Cristo.
Wonderful book.
Delighted to have made your acquaintance. Thank you for the excellent brandy. I think, if you don't mind, we're just going to wander around the house for a little bit before we.
Of course not.
That's what
Are
wonderful things happen when you just show up at the new person's place.
That's wonderful.
Any of the young talents that you're nurturing, we should keep an eye out for in particular?
Oh, he's like the young woman that brought the brandy, Ruth. She is quite the actress. I think that you might, maybe after this play you should look at her for one of yours.
Excellent. Thank you for the tip.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we'll leave you to your preparations. I'm sure there's much to be done.
Yep. He shakes at your hands and he goes, thank you all. I will see you in 2 days.
Excellent.
Would you say overall he was charming?
Oh, yeah. He has a very high charm. Mm-hmm.
All right.
70. So, yes, extremely charming man.
Yeah.
But remember that snakes can hypnotize you.
Mm-hmm.
Until
their
we're
charm.
outside.
Yeah,
Until
well,
we're
I'm not
outside.
saying this out. I'm not saying this out loud.
What?
I'm probably saying, there's some ladies doing some painting in here.
Mhm.
There's
Yeah.
some
I'm
people doing
curious.
ballet.
I'm wondering if they're, where the bedrooms are. Or if there's a separate wing, it's like here's a studio, dance studio, painting
Mhm.
studio, and then all of the sleeping apartments are on another floor. I'm wondering if there's any staff about as well. I mean, I can't imagine that Ruth Jones is mopping.
If you're going bedroom to bedroom, make sure that you knock with some of those doors. I'd imagine in a place like this.
I wouldn't imagine the doors are even closed.
Yeah.
There may be just one large communal room filled with pillows,
That
which has its
very well
appeal.
could be so.
Mhm.
If I see rose petals strewn down a hallway into an open doorway, I'll know.
Mhm. Yeah. As you kind of walk around, you do notice on this floor at the very end of the hallway, there is a door that's closed. You can probably surmise that because most of the doors are on, the east side of the hall, whereas this would be on like the north side of the hall. So it's the only door you've seen that is not on the east side of the building. But
Well, where
like
I was raised
Mhm.
was where I was raised. That means try it and come on in.
That means big room.
You
Yeah,
can always say, "Oh, excuse me." Turn around.
I'll give it the old two knock and open.
Okay. Uh, when you go in, it is obviously the master bedroom. It is a large bed, but you do see like fainting couches and other furniture in here. You can surmise that probably several people sleep in here every night.
Right. Yeah, if I'm going to actually, if for some reason I think there's something to find in here, I'll make sure that Chillingworth is occupied. So for now, I'll just note where it is.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And where else were you guys wanting to go? So upstairs, you had the two rooms that Florian saw when he was walking out, where the one has the ladies doing the ballet, another one where they're painting. But
How about we do a loose tour? Now, was Chillingsworth on the top floor?
yeah, I mean, there's an attic above him, but
Right, yeah.
Mhm.
Attic. But I mean, if we're going to consider being part of this, then perhaps a short walking tour of the entire facility. We don't want to go into people's private bedrooms, but
Mhm.
A
to know
maze
whether
sounds
they're
rather
there.
charming.
And I'm looking also to see if there's any art that I'm impressed by.
Right.
Or artifacts or things. Yeah.
Well,
Weird statues.
does he have a library?
He does not have a library. As you go around, on the second floor, you besides the opium den that Archibald was in, you have the one room where the guy was playing the piano. If you actually look in there, you see that there's a couple beds also in here. In the opium den, you can surmise that people probably sleep in there also. There's another room where there's people working on with clay and maybe the sculpting room is what it's called. They're working on making statues. It's till you get to the ground floor that there's actually not just a bunch of people just being artists and being hedonistic. On the ground floor there, you find there is the dining room, you've got a front room and a kitchen, and in the kitchen there are some people kind of working away, maybe making some meals, and it's the first time you've seen people that are actually probably like not indulging themselves.
Are they uniformed?
They're not uniformed, but you get the sense that they've have been worked in the service industry for a while.
Perhaps they're cooking because they enjoy cooking.
Yeah.
And perhaps for, bored as well. His friends come, and some of them who can make a soup can find a place to sleep, or some opium, or some liquor, or romantic partners, as it were. Well, I could use a civilized meal someplace public and less.
Yes, before we go, I just need to make sure that my new model knows where to go.
Mhm.
Well, you almost fell over in the man's office, Archie, so I don't think another pipe is quite in order yet.
Okay. All
You're
right.
probably right, as always.
All right. So I got from that, you guys are headed out to a restaurant
Yeah, or
or
maybe back to
someplace.
White's Club where we can eat there and
Yes.
discuss.
Yeah. We'll say it's like late afternoon, early evening at most.
This White's Gentlemen's Club, of course, will have a library. Do they keep periodicals?
Sure.
I want to see when and how Mother and Father Chillingworth perished.
Okay. Give me a library use.
This character has among the lowest library use I've ever had. Oh, and I rolled a 90, so I can't find anything. I'm trying to read this alphabetically. What's after Q?
I'm wondering.
believe it's T.
R?
Cutie pie.
I'm wondering, like, could I do like a credit rating roll to like see if I know any scuttlebutt about the Chillingworth family at all?
Sure. Yeah. That would make sense to me.
I know a thing about the library. Blake, let me give it a shot.
That's a 23. I believe that's a hard. Yes.
Okay. So Chillingsworth's father worked in the world of finance. That's where and his father's father worked in the world of finance also. And the scandal that you knew about was that Chillingworth Ernst refused to enter into the finance world, and there was actually talk of him being disowned, but his father died in a tragic carriage accident.
Classic.
And when was that?
That was in 1895.
Okay, it's only a couple of years ago.
Yep.
Okay. Interesting. Do we know anything about the mom?
Go ahead.
That's it, mother?
Yeah.
We'll say she, it doesn't say, so we'll say she passed away sometime before that.
I'd like to look up and see if I can find anything on Sir Wendell Whitlock.
All right, let me look at what you need for that. Okay, give me a library use on that.
36 is, where's my library? 36 out of 70. So that is, if I spend 1 point, it'll be a hard. I'll spend 1 point of luck.
Okay. All right. So Sir Wendell Whitlock, he is a retired brigadier general in the army. He spent time, fighting in the various wars around. He has disappeared from a society. In the past couple years, although his death has not been announced, but he was knighted for all of his service. He spent most of his time fighting in the No, no, that's not it. He spent most of his time in the South Africa and in the South Pacific during his service.
South Africa and South Pacific. So I am thinking about the art piece. If he gave it to him, perhaps it's from the islands or from the coast of Africa. That gives me a jumping off point. Now, I wouldn't have the books here, but because I'm a museum curator, I probably have a lot of resources back at my house
Right.
for researching the various things that I'm curating.
hmm
I'll check when I get home tonight.
Okay. Edward and Archie, were you wanting to do anything?
You know, I don't have anything in particular.
Okay.
I just imagined that I was helping any of those that were in the library initially.
That's fine.
I
As
can
somebody
likely
who's
Sir Armstrong's help in credit rating for my
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe, you know.
There you go.
well, all these gentlemen are doing their bookworm thing. I've gone from eating opium to drinking sherry. So
Nice. Okay.
I'm making
Alright.
sure that the restaurants that the servers at the White's Club
Mhm.
have work to do.
Good. And it's probably been an hour since you've stopped using opium, so go ahead and give me a luck roll.
Oh boy, here we go.
This is the fun roll.
37 is a pass.
Okay. You are not addicted.
Yes.
All right.
That does mean he's going to stop.
Yeah, exactly.
Yet.
It's still a choice.
I'm not chemically addicted, but
Wow.
psychologically.
It was a success, not a failure.
Yeah. Right. So, happy you guys are kind of doing the research. You've ate your meal and all. One of the workers at the club, he goes, Mr. Buckman, a letter arrived for you.
Letter. Thank you.
Hands it to
Is
you.
there a name on the outside of the envelope
There is. It's
other than mine?
yeah, Theodore Holcomb.
Sir Holcomb. Actually, was he a sir?
He was. Actually, I think he's just a lord.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he is not a
Okay.
sir. Mhm. Okay.
I'll open it up. Dear Mr. Buckman, I have mentioned you to the president of the Pacific Club. He is very inclined to meet you and your associates. Please stop by the club tonight around 10 p.m. I will take you up to meet him. I think you and your artist friends are very exciting prospects for membership. Just give the doorman the password Hagen. Sincerely, Lord Theodore Holcomb. E-O-M. What's E-O-M? End of message. Hagen. I'm not sure if that's a curse word or not. French, maybe?
Sounds
I
Dutch.
don't think it's
German?
French.
Yeah,
It's not Latin.
Dutch. Yeah, odd. Well, Archie, you need to lay off for a little while if we're going to go there at 10 tonight.
We've still got a few hours. The sun's not even set yet.
Yeah.
That's a
Maybe.
spirit, Armstrong.
He's got
but I do
plenty of
feel-
time to sober up.
Oh, the world is spinning so horridly.
Let's make him some coffee or tea.
Oh,
You need a bucket, man.
no, we're not. Oh, I'll be okay.
Oh, server, I think we'll need a bucket.
No. Just water, I think.
Well, in
Coffee,
the
something.
interim, I think I would like to go back to my place for a short period of time. I'll come back here. Perhaps around 7 for dinner.
What are you running off to get?
I want to do a little research on that interesting statue. I'm guessing now it's possibly the coast of Africa or the South Seas Islands. Want to see if I can find any examples of anything like it in any of my research books.
I don't bear the exact same expertise as you, but if you would like a hand navigating the books, I know my way around a library.
Yes, please. You're welcome. Most welcome. I mean, I never know what Cthulhu is going to send me, so I've got a lot of little research books. I pick them up wherever I can. Yes. So please come.
All right. So you two are headed to Florian's place.
Yeah. It's a house actually on the corner of the estate. Technically, it was originally like servants' quarters, but it's a little bit nicer than that. It's more like a guest house.
All right. Okay. All right. What about the other three?
One matter to resolve. Is EOM in a handwritten letter a normal way to say end of message?
No.
Is it something that looks like a title that I've heard of, or a social?
Nope.
It's not like, the letters that follow a doctor or a noble.
It is not.
It is the estranged oranges of, I don't know.
Yes.
Mariposa.
Maybe it was sent by Eom.
Yeah, that's just something to keep in mind.
Everybody orders meat.
Not exactly true. All right. So he said he hasn't seen, before you run off, Buckman, how long ago was it that Whitlock fell away from society?
I don't know.
Chillingsworth said he hadn't seen him for several weeks.
Yeah, I thought that Chillingsworth actually implied that he had died, but
First he used the past tense, and then when I asked about that, he said he had been, yes, a matter of weeks. But I'm wondering if no one else is seeing Whitlock, but he still is, or if he didn't intend.
If he's an adventurer, probably only his immediate family knows where he may be. He could be anywhere.
And all of you should be aware, he doesn't plan for Loki's gift to have any great running time. He only has booked a few nights at the Green Theater. I suppose as somebody who spends family money to put on my own little plays, I should have a sense of how expensive a place like the Green would be. It's seating capacity, that sort of thing.
Oh yeah. And say, let me look at the.
And I could, call and inquire if I didn't know offhand.
Right. Yeah. It looks like it probably seats about 40 or 50 people in the audience. So, smaller. Yeah.
Yeah. It's a little review house where people put things on to see if they have legs. And that might make sense that he's only getting it for a few days. He'll book it, show 150 people, and then take it back to rewrite before staging it someplace greater. Doesn't necessarily mean that that's the entirety of his ambition. Still,
wouldn't he want to see it be seen by millions if he's considering it his greatest work?
Indeed. Also, somebody who 28 or 29 who talks about a magnum opus, I find, frankly, a little ridiculous. Heaven knows that old people can't make art, but he's still wet behind the ears.
He seemed very sure of himself. Shall we put it that
Indeed.
way?
Indeed.
But then what good artist isn't a little sure of himself?
Well, that's what Archie said. I think that some of the finer artists are riddled with self-doubt. Van Gogh was hardly running around bragging.
Yes, but you know, he was painting a painting every single day. There's literally thousands of them.
So a different kind of confidence, you mean?
Yeah. Although I hear he did spend some time in an asylum. So perhaps crazy just produces art. We'll find out as Archibald gets older and crazier and more drug-addled.
Well, when you're poking about on your dusty old books with Eddie, see if you can locate anything any reference to a felatag, and I don't know how we can use a word you can't pronounce as a
It's got to
shibboleth
be like you say
dorming.
Dutch or German. Dutch or German.
Yeah, or an
How's my
acronym
Dutch or German? Yeah.
for
Hmm.
houses.
Well, maybe
Frost
that's it. Maybe I'm
against-
supposed to say FTAGA.
No, I don't know how
However
else you'd say it. And heaven knows we've already made a bad impression on that fellow.
Well, I don't think we care about the servant much.
Gatekeepers, though. I think, I'll go home, bathe, change,
Okay.
look at drafts of something I've been writing, tear them
Mhm.
up.
Okay.
Are we going to
Perfectly
meet
honest.
outside the place at 10?
No, let's meet back here around 7 for dinner.
Okay, let 8. We'll let Archie adjust.
Yeah. I mean, I must
Descend.
say that I'm quite intrigued by this Chillingsworth fellow. I liked the feel of what he was trying to create there. An artist colony, a sort of artistic freedom. I can
Yes, his-
appreciate that.
Eagerness to act as a procurer I found somewhat distasteful.
His some of his takes had an oddly nihilistic perspective.
Oh, here comes Sir Armstrong with the Sunday school.
I was just going to say though, you know, when we were upstairs and he said that if we wanted women, I knew what he meant. And then he said something about that he had men downstairs. And I couldn't fathom what he was talking about. I thought he meant men to bring Archie up to where we were. But now
well,
I think I do know what he meant.
Well, gentlemen, I'm going to retire to my lodgings, and I will meet you at the Pacific Club at 10 o'clock this evening.
Oh, you're not
that-
going to come here for dinner tonight? 8 o'clock?
No. Unfortunately, I have some correspondence I need to make sure is addressed, but I will
Very
see
good.
you.
Mr. Underhill actually has to work for a living.
Mhm.
Oh,
I thought we agreed never to use the W word inside. these
Oh, I'm
walls.
sorry. After it's been quite a day, Florian. I forget these little rules of ours from time to time. You know this.
I'm sad.
And just
That's-
on his on his way home, Gordon like stops into like a pub and just
Mhm.
like has like fish and chips and like a Guinness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That sounds good.
Then goes,
that's really good.
goes back home. Yeah. He personally can't stand the food. So
Yeah.
he likes the real food.
Yeah.
I know what I
Gotcha.
want for dinner tomorrow.
Yummy. All right. Okay, so Florian and Sir Edward, you guys were going to go do some research, if I understood
Yes.
properly.
Yeah,
My,
Florian's got a big personal library.
Okay.
There's quite a few books here on sculpture.
Mm-hmm.
Some collection catalogs from around the world. See if we can find anything that resembles an octopus dragon.
Okay,
Claws.
give me a luck roll. And and since Edward's there, he's probably got the lower luck.
Mine's 50.
Oh.
Yours is
Yeah.
60. Well, 59.
Yeah, we established a while ago that you had the lower.
I rolled a 90.
Okay, all right.
I can't find a damn thing in any of these. I mean, there's some things that are. Blake mentioned Japanese art, and I do see some Japanese things, but nothing
I
like.
see some rather curious Australian Aboriginal statues, but nothing of the quite, tentacled dragon sort.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
All right. Yeah. You must not have one of the books that would have it. So. Mm-hmm.
yeah, or it's just tedious, and as we're looking, we just never find it.
Yeah, could be that too.
It's right there in the book by Inspector Lacrosse.
Yeah, if you just went a little bit further, you would have got. Okay. All right. Were you guys wanting to do anything else, Archie, Blake, until you meet back up?
I think I'm going to try painting that weird little statue that I saw.
All right, give me an arts craft.
14 is an extreme success.
Looks like you did a pretty good job. Oh.
Yes, that's that. There's that little devil, or whatever it is. Yes.
I said I was going to try to look over some things I was working on, so I'm going to see. Nope, as I suspected, 86. I'm just tearing things up.
Okay. All right.
What I was thinking, waiting for Godot, silliness.
All right. Okay, so we'll say you guys kind of meet back up. Gordon, of course, doesn't come to the White Stoneman Club because unless you changed your mind, but he said he wasn't going to. So, Archie, did you refrain from imbibing?
I've been mostly sober while I've been painting this thing.
Okay. All right.
So.
Okay. Excellent. All right. So we come back together at the club, and the dinner is good. And as time goes along, it's getting closer to your meetup time.
I fear I just spent a whole lot of paint on something that nobody's going to want to buy.
A rather nice looking painting so far, though. Not as nice as this lobster bisque.
Tray taste.
Interesting that you added all of those screaming people.
Well, it felt like that they were needed for the scale.
I don't know. We'll show it to Sir Jellicoe and see if he likes it. He might buy it from you.
Is it oil or watercolor?
This one, there's a watercolor study that I did first, but this is oil.
Oh,
right.
So
it's going to take a long time to dry.
Yeah, so you could bring the watercolor along to show Holcomb. It certainly suggests that you're suitable for membership, but it sounds as though we're already in.
Unfortunately, it seems that we're all been added in simultaneously, so I don't know what that does for our bet, Armstrong.
Yes, we betted on which one first, but it's really Florian and Associates. So, if anything,
we somehow both lost.
Yes, it's either we keep our money or we give it to Florian.
No, Florian wasn't part of the bet.
Indeed, I say we just keep it.
I want to clear up some confusion, perhaps, that I've had on this, but I thought the president of the Pacific Club was Chillingsworth.
It might actually be this Whitlock fellow. He seems to be quite involved.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Well, there's a secret benefactor Then we don't like. Perhaps after we're initiated, we'll be instructed something about the structure of itself, whether it has a board or I
Maybe
don't know.
EOM is the name of the man. Earl of
An earl. Yeah.
ostentatious
Well, but why
medicine.
would
The
Holcomb
Earl of
wouldn't
Merriweather.
Holcomb wouldn't sign someone else's name? I assume it's some societal affiliation.
Possibly. Unless he
It
was
also
writing the letter for EOM.
it could also just be, as we initially assumed, of end of message, and they just have a queer writing style.
Maybe. I know occasionally my secretary, if I have her send a letter, she'll write sent, or she'll have it written by her name at the very bottom with my signature above it.
Yeah, it was a record of transmission, I suppose. This was a handwritten note,
Yep.
It was handwritten. Yes.
probably on rather expensive paper.
Oh yeah.
Oh, we'll find out in an hour or so. Shall we gather up and go?
Oh, just let me finish the rest of this bisque.
All right.
I don't.
All right. So you guys hailed down a couple carriages, or you had some waiting for you, and you arrive at the club. And Gordon, do you arrive also?
Yes, yeah, I'll be there promptly 10 with the carriage. Hello, gents.
Thank you, my good man.
Ah, Mr. Underhill.
Mr.
you?
Lovell.
How are you this fine evening?
Oh, other than hesitant to say the least to meet with that dreadful footman at the door, I'm curious to meet the president of this establishment.
Yes, we were speculating on that. Shall we go inside?
Indeed.
Secret code word is foot powder. What was it again? I've got it here
Batagan, I
myself.
believe.
Toboggan.
Toggle.
Like toboggan, I guess.
Dreadful.
Oh, yes.
Right. So you guys go up, you open the door, and you see Gordon's favorite person, Robbins. He looks up, he has a look of disdain on his face, and he's like going, "Oh, it's you again."
I'll lean forward and go,
Yes, indeed.
Okay.
And please take our gloves and coats and do your business well this evening, Robbins. A lot's waiting
Oh,
for you, I'm sure.
oh, yeah, I'm sure. And what was that you said there, good sir?
I said toggan.
Tagan. Is this your first time pronouncing words, I take it? It's like going,
We couldn't figure out the language. So
oh,
I'm
of
sorry
course you
about that,
couldn't.
but,
Of course you couldn't.
we were invited. I had the letter from Holcomb
Yeah.
to meet the president.
And about that time, Holcomb comes around the corner and he says in a very loud voice, "Robbins, what have I talked to you about treating our guests this way?" He's like, "Come with me." And Robbins, you can all give a psychology roll.
Gonna be a spanking.
Not the
Oh.
failure.
20 is a hard success.
Oh,
I
five.
also got a hard.
I've got an extreme.
Okay.
I can already hear the screams.
Yeah, you recognize like genuine fear in Robin's eyes when Holcomb says that. The only time if you would experience that is if you had seen someone right before a carriage had run them down and they realized they couldn't get out of the way. He goes, and another well-dressed man comes up to you and he goes, "My name is Lord Weldon Payne. Sorry about the little incident at the door. Come in. Lord Holcomb will be back shortly after he deals with the issue.
Ah, excellent. Thank you, Lord. I was just telling Lord Holcomb how difficult it is to find good footmen these days. So insolent.
Yeah. You give small men a little power, and they flaunt it like they've earned it instead of it was gifted to them.
Ah,
I have Lord Payne written down on my sheet. Was that from last?
He was
episode?
mentioned by the people I was talking to last
Yep.
session.
Mm-hmm.
Ah, okay. So it
Yep.
wasn't me in the conversation.
No. So he goes, I hear that your prospectus to join our club. Holcomb has talked very highly of you, which it carries a lot of weight.
Yes, well, I tend to have that effect on people.
Mm, mm. What did you talk about that could have
We talked about
influenced?
art. We talked about inspiration. Where does art come from? We had quite a rousing conversation about the muses and where inspiration might flow from. And sometimes those wells of inspiration give you the cold shoulder.
Oh, very interesting. Like going, oh, here he is. And you see Holcomb coming back in. He's pulling his gloves back onto his white gloves back onto his hands. He goes, he leans over to Lord Payne, and he goes, make sure that Finley takes over the doorman duties. He goes, I will. And then Holcomb again smiles back at you. He's like, would you like anything to drink, or do you want to just head on up? I will tell you that Sir Whitlock, he won't have any alcohol in his room, but he doesn't mind if we bring a glass with us.
Well, that's very kind of you.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind something a little bracing before we go up and meet the great man himself. This is Wendell Whitlock, the celebrated retired brigadier general.
Oh yes, it is. He is our benefactor of the club and the president.
The mysterious patron behind the secretive new Pacific Club. Now the name makes sense, of course. He served Her Majesty overseas. Fascinating. I'll scotch and soda if.
Oh, of course. He kind of looks at another member, and they fix you your drinks.
I was curious. We were having a discussion on the way over here. Tonight's secret password. We're trying to figure out the language. It sounded, we guessed, Dutch or German.
Oh no, it is South Pacific is where it came from. Fatagan. Fatagan is it means dream.
Dream. Ah.
Mm.
From one of the islands then.
Yes.
Interesting, yes. One might guess that none of us would know any of the languages from the South Pacific Islands.
We find that quite a effective way to have people not be able to guess your passwords.
Is that the reason why it's the Pacific Club?
Oh, of course. Yes.
Now it all makes sense. Well, this is delightful.
Wonderful. He's like, well, shall we?
That shall.
He goes up, and he goes into a room, and then he kind of pushes a book, and you surmise it releases a latch, and the bookcase kind of spins, and you can see there's stairs behind it. It's like,
that's quite charming.
Yes, well, we like to have our little fun. What good is building your own club if you can't have a few little hidden passages in there? Who didn't dream of those when you were a young boy?
Indeed.
So you go up as you go up the staircase. You come to a hallway, and there's a one door there, and he stops in front of the door, and he knocks a very light rap on the door, and you hear a voice. He's like going, "Just a moment." He goes, "Oh, he's probably finishing up his meeting." He goes, "So how was your last night? Your after the engaging conversations we have? Did everyone sleep well?"
Indeed.
Yes, I had a most pleasant dream of sailing on the ocean afterwards.
Oh, that is interesting. We were talking about our dreams and the ocean. Perhaps that worked its way into your subconscious.
You made quite the impression on us, yes.
Well, that's good to hear. The door opens, and a figure comes out. It's kind of got a cape with a cowl up. It's kind of got its head down, and it's got almost a aroma of earth, an earthen aroma on it as it as he shuffles kind of past. And all of you can give me a spot hidden.
Little horse smell, Lord. 3.
Okay. Hard success.
Okay.
Regular only.
Hard
for me.
success.
Hard success. All right.
I've dropped my dice, so just move
You
on.
dropped your dice. All right.
It's the
I'm
drugs.
going to use a different set of dice next time we play. I got a 98.
Nice.
It's not a
All right.
fumble, but
Nope. All right. If you pass, you are almost positive that the fingers on the nails, they had dirt underneath it, and one of them was kind of broken out, like he had dug, and the fingernail had bent backwards and been peeled off. But his face, you swore, was almost dog-like, and you guys can give me a sanity roll for.
Oh, so I got my dice rolled and passed in time for the SAM roll.
Yeah.
All right.
Fail.
maybe
Ooh, I passed-
ignorance is
passed my
bliss.
sanity.
It is.
36.
Okay.
Yeah, 15 is very good.
Okay, all right. So let's look at what I just had it out and it fleed my mind. All right, so if you fail, that is a 1d6.
But if you
And if
you
you
pass,
0.
okay.
It was just the shadow of a cowl. I followed it looked like a hound, a emaciated
Yeah,
hound.
Ow, what are you talking about?
Yeah, I'm not at all. It's trick of the light.
Okay. All right. You notice that Holcomb's watching you for you certain he's almost checking for your reaction. Then he opens the door, and in the room it is lit only by candles. And you see a gentleman sitting there. He looks like he might be in his mid-30s. He is wearing a nightgown, and his belly is kind of swollen, almost like when people get a distended stomach, from malnutrition. And he looks up at you, and he stands slowly, and he's like going, these are the ones you told me about, Theodore. He's like, come in.
Sir Whitlock, we're very happy to meet you.
Oh, well, I'm very happy to meet you. Theodore, you came highly recommended from Theodore, but I insist to meet all prospective members.
Would I find that very strange that he referred to it by his first name?
It's not a very gentlemanly thing to do.
I wasn't trying to imply it was supposed to be odd. So yeah. A familiarity is what you got from it. So yeah.
Maybe a bit of class superiority as well,
Yeah.
or rank, but 30s? He's appears to be in his 30s.
Yep.
A retired brigadier general in his 30s.
Hmm.
Yes.
The room kind of shrouded, like it's dark.
Yeah.
Just can't
Mhm.
quite.
The
Yep.
trick of the light, perhaps.
So he sits down and he's like going, so tell me about yourself and what why you believe that you would be a good member in our order.
I'm going to probably tell him more or less the truth of
Mhm.
what happened. That the same as I did with Chillingsworth. That
Yeah.
we've just sort of got wrapped into this, and we wanted to see what the Pacific Club was about, and now we're friends with Chillingsworth. I won't say that we just became friends with
Yeah.
Chillingsworth.
You mentioned Gladstone?
Yeah, probably.
Okay. When you say that, he goes, he's like young Gladstone. He's like going, I met him a while ago. I taught him a few things.
Oh, and we were saddened at his passage.
Oh, I hadn't heard.
Oh, you hadn't heard. Yes, there was an accident. He fell from a balcony on the estate property and unfortunately didn't survive.
He kind of sits back when you say that, and he's like going, He looks over at Theodore and Holcomb, and he goes, I told him he wasn't ready to pronounce it correctly.
Pronounce it correctly.
He goes,
Something in your South Pacific language. You seem
The
to have become
Kagan.
knowledgeable about their language.
oh, I the language was found in the South Pacific, but it didn't come from the South Pacific. It's much older than the savages that live on those islands.
Oh, you're a student of antiquities, archaeology.
I'm a student of the truth. My eyes were opened when I was met a man in the on the islands.
Oh.
Pembroke. He was a soldier in His Majesty's government from in the late 60s.
Does the name Pembroke strike a chord
No.
with me?
No.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Sir Whitlock. So if you met Pembroke, and he'd been serving in the 60s, is he one of those chaps who, as they say, went native, stayed behind after his terms of service, that sort of thing?
Oh, he stayed behind. I don't know if I'd say he went native, unless living by yourself is going native. He was maybe.
A hermetic type then?
Yeah. Oh, yes. Very hermetic. He'd found something. He'd found this old statue that he'd become obsessed with, and then he insisted that I take it after he taught me a few things. I thought he was quite mad at the time, but I've come to see that no, he wasn't mad, that he was actually wise in the world and that he couldn't deal with people that weren't.
That's interesting. Is it anything like the statue that Chillingsworth has?
Oh, it is the statue that Chillingsworth has. I gifted that to him myself.
Yes, we just saw that recently. It's quite beautiful.
It is quite beautiful. It's
I've been,
very, very old. It was.
Sir Edward and I were trying to do some research on to see if we could find an origin, but
Just couldn't find anything. It
We
just
thought South African, perhaps, but now we're thinking South Pacific. That's why we couldn't identify it and don't exactly have a lot of books on South Pacific statuary.
I took the leisure to actually make a rendition of it in paint.
Oh,
He's
you
quite a
did.
good artist.
Yes, I
Oh,
brought the watercolor study. The oil painting, of course, will take some time to dry.
ah, I would like to see that. I
It's
believe
right
that
here.
do you? 'Cause, when he looks at it, he gets this like smile on his face, almost like a smile of ecstasy. He's like going, yes. He's like going, I hated to part with it, but it is what was needed. You cannot just hang on to the truth. You need to let spread the truth.
Hmm. Would you
So
tell
you
us
say
anything
like
about it?
a look of ecstasy,
Mhm.
and like, are we talking like?
Not an orgasmic look, but more of like
Okay.
yeah,
That
more
he
of like
enjoys it.
yeah, like I hadn't seen my long lost love in a long time, and
Ah,
Right. A very clear, like, emotional reaction to it.
hmm.
Okay.
You can
well,
you can keep that if you'd like.
Oh, I very much would.
I am myself am Sir Jellicoe's curator of his antiquities collection. Uh, he likes that sort of thing, so I also yeah, I seem to have amassed a great deal of knowledge on such things. It's quite baffling, quite beautiful.
Mm. It
And the language that's written on it, is that the Tagan language?
yes, it is. It's how it is written in their original
Ah,
tongue before they adapted to be able to speak to the humans.
ah. So it's a god's language, and angelic language, like uh Enochian.
Yes, that's a good way to
Hmm,
say it. After all,
that's interesting.
our ancestors, they had much truths before the truths were distorted by human creations.
Human creations.
Yes, like a story of a pharaoh's adopted son climbing a mountain and bringing tablets down. Stories of a man being hung from a Roman's execution device and then rising again, or stories of a man being spoke to by a god and founding a city in Arabia.
I'm going to interrupt him and just say,
Yeah.
it's quite interesting, sir, that you look to be about the same age in which our Lord Savior was killed. I'm very curious. You've been missing for a number of years.
Oh, yes,
Have
yes.
you have you been somewhere to keep your youthful look?
Oh, no, I am changing. I am becoming more connected to the our gods.
I see.
Like a miracle.
Oh, that would be a one way to put it. That would make it easy to understand. Yes. I mean, the longer you study, the more that he connects to you, and the more that he connects to you, the more that you want to study, and you keep. It's almost in this never-ending cycle of understanding. After all, I've seen places that are beyond this world.
Interesting. If it's not impertinent to ask, you look like a man of 30s. How old are you, in fact?
Oh, I am It's would you believe I am 62 years old.
My goodness. Yes, you are
Forgive me
very
for
well
saying
preserved.
it's almost a bit unbelievable to age that well.
Keeper, can I just ask? He's also the one with the distended stomach,
Yep.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
Hmm.
He goes, I understand that the way I talk and what I say can be quite shocking, but I'm long past the time where I want to not speak the truth and all. And Holcomb said that your minds were open and that you should be able to dream of our gods. That
Well, we
you
did have some strange dreams last night.
oh
Yes,
he
very odd.
he was correct. Yes, you
Very
are.
water dreams, yes.
Odd
That
structure underwater.
oh yes, his resting place.
His resting place?
Yeah. I now you must understand that I say he and his for simplicity. There is no gender or sex to be associated with it in the way that humans would understand.
Oh, like many religious ideas. The Greeks had many hermaphroditic gods.
Gordon is getting progressively more upset with
Yeah.
this conversation.
Yeah, Armstrong is also
This
trying to keep himself composed. And like you can tell
Okay.
he's getting a bit twitchy at this point.
Try to remain objective. We're talking about the mythologies of various people and how they affected one another over time. I mean, much of the
Yeah.
Christian and Jewish religion is really stemming from Babylon and Persia.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I mean,
Different names, different deities.
all created to help explain things that that are incomprehensible to us.
Exactly. Well,
Those,
that's very interesting. So,
excuse me.
if we can ask then, I mean, we thought you were just simply a gentleman's club, another one. What do you offer as to prospective members?
Goes, oh, what do I offer? I will show you what I showed our poorly lost Gladstone. He's like going, but I must warn you, don't try this when you're up on a balcony. And then he speaks in words that you don't quite understand, and he starts levitating off of the ground up into the air. And you guys can all give a sanity roll.
If I pass, I'm just going to think he's a good magician.
92.
Yeah, I passed. I think he's blessed.
I got you beat. 99.
Oh.
I got a 14.
Okay. It is 1 point if you pass. It is a 1d6 if you failed again, because like
Oh, 6.
oh,
I got you
Oh,
beat this
boy.
time.
oh.
Aren't
All
you
right.
not Japanese?
We
Give me a if you lost 5 or more, go ahead and give me a intelligence roll.
Damn, I'm intelligent. Oh,
13 is an extreme success.
Yeah,
I failed.
You failed. All right. So, Archibald, you can go ahead and increase your Cthulhu mythos by 5,
Uh-huh.
and you collapse. And in your mind, you hear this thing talking to you. And,
What the fuck did I paint? Why did I paint this monster? Oh no.
Yeah, and what he's saying makes a lot of sense, and this club seems like the truth. Like, it's starting to explain what you've been looking for, what the
It
drugs have not been
whispers
able to
secrets to me.
It does. Oh. As he begins to descend back down, he's like going, I hope you understand what I believe happened to young Gladstone. I think he tried to say the words without practice and unfortunately fell.
What?
How
Some magic,
Where's the strings?
magic show.
Because he's like, consider what I've told you. I will see you again. He's like going, open up your minds to the dreams tonight. The truth will come to you.
I'm grabbing Archie. Come on.
Yes, I'll try to get under his other shoulder. Sir Whitlock is evidently dismissing us. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
thank you for yes.
Yes, we appreciate the audience. A parting question, if I may.
Mm-hmm.
My friend Mr. Buckman asks about benefits to members. I'm curious as to what, in your mind, is the purpose of the Pacific Club.
The purpose of the Pacific Club is a gathering for us to be with like-minded people that understand that the society has lied to us, that it has blinded us to what is really happening and denied us from our true roots. Does not the ocean call to all good Englishmen?
That's the sweet sound that calls the young sailors.
Pulling them out. Let's go.
And
I fear they're one and the same.
Bless you.
Yeah. One last thing. EOM. What does that stand for?
Oh, it's like going, that is what we call, how we sign all our letters. We are the elevated order of Morpheus.
The god of dreams.
He goes, but I must get back to my studies.
Thank you.
He kind of closes his eyes, and you almost see like you can surmise that he's falling asleep almost immediately. All right. Theodore takes you down the steps, and he's like going, I know that was quite shocking, but I have faith that you are strong in mind to be able to accept what you saw. If not, then there is no hard feelings at all.
Well, I understand that initiations of these sorts are part and parcel of more private communities, and I, for one, appreciate your faith in us, Mr. Holcomb.
Yeah.
If you'll excuse us, we need to get to our friend Archie.
Of course.
Thank you for having us, Sir Holcomb.
Okay.
We'll contact you tomorrow.
Excellent. All right. So when you leave, and is what we'll close out on, you see a dog kind of nudging in the trash just outside. It's kind of tipped it over, and he pulls out there. It looks like a hand, but it's completely been blackened, and like all the water and everything's been pulled out of it. And as he pulls along, you see like what's attached to it is definitely the coat of what Robbins was wearing.
Oh, good. I thought it was a decent human being.
All right. And that's where we'll close out.
Our players included Troy Wheeldryer, David Gasaway, Morgan Llewellyn, Sham Sabin, and myself, with Keith Craig as the keeper of arcane lore. We have a Discord server where you can chat with other members, you can set up private games, and you can learn the finer arts of gameplay and game mastering. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Spotify, Podbean, or iTunes. Support for the show is provided by our patrons who are listed in the closing credits. If you would like to show us your appreciation, please visit our Patreon page, or you can use the thanks button just below the screen. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answer any questions you might have. This is Thom Raley, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.